And welcome to Crochet Hooks. Please enjoy our free tutorials with just one of a 24-part series on teaching you how to crochet. Subscribe to start receiving our 24 courses that are delivered to your email inbox every few days. By the time you're done, you'll know the ins and outs of crochet. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. So now let's get crocheting with Curtsy. And welcome back to the Curtsy Crochet Hook program. Today is lesson number 21, and in today's lesson we're going to learn how to make a simple table centerpiece. Now, we've learned how to make circles in the past, we've learned how to put stitches together to create fans. In this one we're actually going to be learning how to make circles again. We're going to cover the actual rotations to be able to expand it so it sits flat, and then we're going to just highlight the end with some beautiful ruffling. I actually have a couple of these lying around the house. So this is one of those great tutorials. It's a real life project. You can actually use this after you've done this tutorial. So let's get you started on lesson number 21, and this is making a simple table centerpiece. In today's edition, we're going to learn how to do circles and concentrating on the center of the circles, and then making it something practical so you can actually do something like this candle holder area. And what we want to do is we want to focus on how to go in circles and do it correctly. Plus, what we want to do is kind of do a little different technique to create lines in your work if you would like to. And then to finish this off, I'm going to show you how to do really fabulous little ruffles, just like you see here. And you know, one of my girls in the crochet crowd, she says, well, the edges look pretty prissy, and you know, right now I'm almost finishing this tutorial as we go. And what we can do is just look at the difference of just leaving it prissy, as she would say, to something just making it more random looking. It's not random. This tutorial, we're going to start on the inside and work our way to the outside. So let's begin, and we're going to do a slip knot, and what we're going to do is just wrap it around your finger twice. This is the back of my hand, and I want to take the back one over the forward, and now the back one up and over. So you can see that we just did that. There's slower tutorials available on my channel if you need that. So the slip knot never counts as one. I was a little bit too generous with my tail, so you can go a little bit less. So this does not count as one, and what we want is a chain of 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. We now want to create the actual ring. In order to do that, we're just going to slip our hook into the very first stitch available. So where we came from, just slip it in. Okay, and so you'll have one stitch that you can see on the bottom, and you'll see 2 strings on the top, just like so. Okay, so now what we want to just do is grab them. So what I want you to do is hold it down so it's like a U shape. Hold it down, and now grabbing the material, so grabbing the material that's coming from your hand and pulling it up and through. Okay, so now you have your ring, and so now your finger has been holding that hole, and now what we want to do is put that straggler piece next to the actual ring and clamp it down with your nasty finger and your thumb. Okay, so now let's begin to start our first rotation. Now we're going to start by chaining up of 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and what we need to do is a total of 12 going all the way around, but this chaining up of 3 actually counts as 1 double crochet. So in actual fact, when we go all the way around, it's going to be 12 double crochet, but in actual fact this already counts as 1, the chaining, so we actually have to do 11. So let's just wrap our material, and we're going to go right into the center point. Okay, and pulling it through. This is a double crochet, so then 2, 2, and 2. So let's do it again. So just grabbing the material, going right into the center point, okay, for the entire circle. Now you are putting the straggler down on top of the ring area, and as you're crocheting, it's going to seal itself in a position. Okay, so just wrapping it and going into the center, pull through the center area, pull through 2 and 2. Okay, so just want to do that. And so what I don't do is I don't count as I go. I just look at if there's quite a bit, and then I can count afterward. So this is one of those tutorials where I'm actually using a variegated yarn. And variegated is meaning that it changes color frequently. It's not my favorite kind of yarn to work with. I find sometimes the variegation is too quick, and sometimes when the yarn is changing color too quickly, it actually makes your stuff look like a mess. So let's begin now, and I'm going to just do a count. So you just got to look for the stitches. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and see how I started off that one as 1? Well, you want to start that off as 1. So I just have one more left to go, and this will be 12. And now we want to begin to slip stitch. And to slip stitch, we're just going to look for the very first chain there and come in on the top. Just stick your hook in, and pull the material through and through, and there is your first rotation. So let's begin and go on to our next round. We're going to start up by chaining 3. This is going to your next round. So 1, 2, and 3. And now we want to put another crochet right into that same spot. So just double crochet yourself. See that hole? Just right in there. Pull through 2 and 2. That's a double crochet, everybody. And now we want to move to our next one. So every stitch that we go into, we actually want to put 2 double crochets in a row. So that was 1, and put it into the same hole again, or same stitch, for 2. Going into the next one. Okay, for 2. Going into the next stitch. There's 1, and this is 2. Oops. 2. Okay, going into the next one. 1 and 2. This is the only round in this entire thing that we're going to actually do something like this. As we get further out from the ring, you'll notice that the number of stitches combining together to create the circle get less and less. So let's keep going. In actual fact, if you're going to keep count, you will notice at the end you will have 24 stitches left. And you know I'm not perfect, and nobody's perfect. At points sometimes in these circles you can actually fake it. So if you've ended up with an odd number, or if you've ended up with too many, it's not too detrimental. I wouldn't say start screwing up on purpose, but if you're off by 1 or 2, it really isn't too much of an impact. Okay. So you're going to keep coming around this area until you get to the one right here. Okay, and a lot of people think that they got one more to go because it kind of looks like you got one more to go, and this one here is actually not an actual stitch on this line here. It's actually working its way up. So now what we want to do, and it looks like it's kind of bending over a little bit, but what we want to do now is just come to the top of the first rotation, or first one that we started, slip through both to create the circle. Okay, so let's move on to our next rotation. So what we're going to do now is chain up 3. So 1, 2, and 3. So the first ratio I want to give you is the 2 to 1. So in the very first one, we want to put 2 double crochets. So there's 1 and 2 into the very same hole, everybody. Next one, we want to put 1. So that was your 1. Okay, so this was the 2 to 1 ratio. So the next one is 2 into the same hole. And then the next one is 1. So you just go 1, 2, 1, 2 all the way around. So the next one is 2. Okay, the next one is 1. The next one is 2. The next one is 1. The next one is 2. The next one is 1. The next one is 2. The next one is 1. The next one is 2. The next one is 1. Next one is 2. 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 Okay, next one is 1. Okay, and the next one is 2. Okay, so we're at the very end, and again, that one here, that one's leaning over, is part of that. So you don't, that people go into that because they think that's what they have to do. So now you're just going to go into the top of that first chain area, get the material and pull it through. So that was the 2-to-1 ratio going all the way around, and you can see that the circle is starting to perfectly come around. So let's move on to your next round. So we're now going to work our way up again, and so we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. So in the next rotation we're going to do the 2-to-2 ratio. So the other one was 2-to-1, this is 2-to-2. So the first one will get 2 double crochets, and then we'll have 2 single double crochets in a row. So 1, and then the next one is 2. Okay, so we had double, single, single. So they're all double crochets, but they're just in their own holes. So the next one is going to get 2. So 1 and 2. And the next one is going to get 1. And the next one is going to get 1. Moving on to the next one is going to get 2. 1 and 2. And then we get 2 ones again. 1 and 1. Okay, next one is going to get 2. 1 and 2. Okay, so it's 1 and 1. The next one is going to get 2. We're starting to see the pattern here, everybody. So 1 and 1. The next one is going to get 2. Okay, the next one is going to get 1 and 1. And then the next one gets 2. Okay, that's 1, 1. So you can clearly see, even if you miscount, you can actually see how these two are there together, so it's easy to tell what you're doing as long as you're following your configuration. So this one is a 2. Okay, and so now 1, 1. Okay, and the next one is going to get 2. So the next one is going to get 1. Next one is 1 and 2. Okay, this is 1, 1, and this is 2. Okay, and that's 1, 1, 2. Okay, and we're going to end up with just 1 at the very end. So just 1, and now we're going to slip stitch, everybody. So let's slip stitch, going in, going it through, and through. So that was that entire rotation, and now we're going to try something even more different that you probably never have seen before. And what we're going to do now is create this line that you can see going all the way around, just like so, like right there. Okay, so let's begin to do that next. Okay, everybody, so let's chain up our 3 to get started. So 1, 2, and 3. So right now you're looking at this, and I'm just going to pull that out and show you. But right now you're looking at the stitches, and we've been going in and out of these ones here. But if you turn it even further, you're going to see a third line in the back. Okay, and the third line is actually just behind. So just that one is where we normally go into, but there's a third one in behind, just like so. Okay, so what we're going to do on this rotation, we're just going to grab it from behind. It is a little bit slower, but we want to also continue maintaining that configuration now, and what we want to do now is go to 3-to-2 configuration. So in the very first stitch, what we want to do is come in behind.